I'm back with Leanne Ebert from Walls Revived, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about how to prepare your home for sale when it comes to design, staging, and of course, paint, right?
Of course.
So, Leanne, let's get started. You recently bought a new house.
I did.
Well, it's not new. It's a used new house, but
That's right.
You had sold your house, and you are doing consulting as well for some clients right now because it is the spring real estate market is pumping up. So what are some things that people need to understand about getting their house ready for sale regarding their walls?
For sure. So I always feel like a first impression is key, especially for the buyer of the house. So, they walk through the front door and they quickly look around, right? And if they're seeing like scuffs and dirty walls and whatnot, like that's just another just a headache, and people don't want to have to fix, the house up unless they have to, unless, you do what I did and bought something that, needs updating. But first impressions are key. So if you're going to paint anything in your house, get that front entrance, like tip top and up in shape and stuff. The other thing too is just any large, holes or gouges and stuff, we're going to have to fix that up too. So, and then of course, what I like to paint, one of my favorite things to paint is like baseboards. Like if you have the pristine looking wall, but then you got grubby baseboards, even just giving all your baseboards a quick coat of paint can do wonders for selling your house.
Okay. So let's get into some trends or some colors that,
Sure.
Maybe were fashionable when the house was done or last painted, and what is working now.
Okay.
So let's talk about builder beige.
Yes, builder beige.
So builder beige, should people, just put another coat of builder beige on, or should they switch that up?
It's not a straight answer, of course, because if you guys all know, like if you go into show homes, you're still going to see a lot of white walls, right? Or just off white, which is very, it's still fashionable and trendy. Although I'm getting a lot of requests to change those walls. It's just too cold, too sterile. Let's warm it up. So if we go back to beige, builder beige is a little bit darker, although beige is coming back. And I know beige is a swear word to a lot of people. It's like, oh, right. But people are tired of those stark white walls, and we want to warm it up. So it's just more of an off-white. In the end, though, I find that when people buy a house, they usually want to put their own personal stamp on it. So they're usually going to repaint the house anyways. Right. But what I am seeing is just a lighter beige, but not white. So
Lighter beige, not white. Okay.
that's why you need a professional color, consultant and
sure.
Consultation, I should say.
Yeah, and so when you come into a house and you're giving a consult to a client, what are some of the first things that you look at, or you say to the client, or help guide them in that consultation process?
And this is when they're selling the house?
Correct.
Yes. So usually, like, we walk around the house and just see if there's any, major things that need to be done. And I usually point out, like, when a person's shopping for a house, they're not really looking at the walls, they're looking at the space overall and function. And so if we get into the details, then we do look at the walls, of course. And I always say, well, look at, you have a huge window, right here, and it's shining on these walls, and you can see fingerprints, scrubbiness, like anything, right? We should definitely, give those walls just a fresh coat of paint. It'll do wonders, and it'll just, freshen up the whole space and give a great first impression. So,
yeah. Now, one of the questions that we had when we were doing some research was, will, changing the paint color affect the resale value of the home? Maybe speak to that.
Okay. It can. You should walk into a house and it should just feel right. So that means the perfect neutral that, works well with all the other, like the flooring and the tiles and the countertops and stuff. So if you walk into a house and it's kind of like a purpley gray, but then we've got like brown floor, like you can just tell when it's off. So I would definitely recommend, changing the paint color to just like a more neutral. Yeah, because it really can put people off when they're searching for a house, and it's, you know, they get the like a bad impression, you know, a feeling.
Yeah.
People go off a feeling. So
Yeah.
it's just best to, even if you just paint the main areas, like the front entrance, the main living room, you know, all the way up into the, like if it's a 2-story, up into the stairwell and the landing area, because bedrooms, you know, if you have kids, they usually want to pick their own color anyways. But if you just get that overall main area looking perfect, yeah, that'll help you immensely.
Yeah. So it'll help, maybe not change the value or whatever of the house, but it'll change how long it's on the market.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
So when people are wanting to put their home up for sale, what are some things that they shouldn't do if they want to sell it quickly?
Things they shouldn't do. Well, you know, you should have some furniture in your house, like for staging purposes, because people want to visualize, you know, even if it's not their taste, but they want to see a sense of space, like, oh, I can fit a big couch in here or something like that. And then that also relates to don't have too much stuff in your space, right? Like get rid of the clutter. And if need be, do shove it into your closets. I mean, like in the end, people will be looking inside the closets too, but at least that first impression is key. And clean it up, you know, like, and just get rid of the clutter. And that would be, you know, a huge advantage.
Yeah. Now, let's say somebody has purchased a home and they want to do a refresh.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, where do you fit in that?
Oh, those are my favorite.
Those are your favorites. Okay,
That's my
let's
favorite.
talk about that.
Because usually they get the keys to the house, and ideally they will hand the keys over to me. And then I will start painting, because I'm so much faster when there's no furniture in the space, right? Because like, yeah. So what happens is usually, like, a lot of people want to pick the colors before they move in, but I don't think that's necessarily a great idea. So we can pick a color in, you know, a couple hours or even less than that. Yeah, we just start refreshing everything, you know, including closets. Closets are a huge pain in the butt to, like, you know, empty out, and they are essentially like a little room. So, you know, when there's no furniture, nothing in the house, it's quick and easy. And it's just like you're moving into your own fresh, you know, new old house or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely my favorite.
Good. And at that point, you can do the walls, you can do any touch-ups, like fixing of the walls, any holes, nicks, scrapes, and all that kind of stuff.
That's right.
And then what about after somebody moves in? Because, you know, it's always happens whenever you're moving furniture in. There's dings and nicks and all of that. You know, how do you deal with that with the client?
Well, I'd almost recommend, and we do work closely together, like, you know, when is your movers coming? Is there a particular room you want me to finish first? I do recommend that, like, we get the bedrooms done, and then they can move their furniture in, and then I would come back and do like the hallways or the stairwells, for example. Stairwells are a pain in the butt to paint to begin with. And especially when you're moving big, you know, items of furniture up the walls, it happens, right? You ding the wall. And unfortunately, paint nowadays, it's kind of hard to touch up. Yeah, like they've taken a lot of the VOCs out of the paint. So it's, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but like, you can see touch-ups a lot more readily. There's areas that you can get away with it, but if you want that, like, you just painted your whole house, right? Like, oh, all of a sudden now I see a touch-up, and that's just not ideal. So there's strategies, and it's, you know, a great painter will work with the homeowner and be like, okay, look, we'll come back to do this section, you know. It's just, yeah, flexibility is key as well for a happy client and great results. So
yeah, perfect. And you're all about the results, right?
That's right.
That's why you're in demand, and that's why you're like highly sought in Edmonton, simply because like you do a great job. And, you know, is there anything else that Edmonton homeowners who are looking to, you know, sell their home or move into a new home that we haven't really discussed about painting, prep, design, staging?
I'm trying to draw on my own experience right now, buying my new old home. And what I'm currently doing, I mean, I'm looking on Pinterest a lot, just getting ideas of how I want to decorate and design it. The main thing is choose your color last. Okay. So you want to pick your furniture if you know, or move your old stuff, but I'm going to pick some new stuff because it fits the space better. Yeah. Everyone rushes to get that paint color, you know, like they want to pick it. Right. I'm like, just wait. We got to see what, you know, what works with what. But yeah, I'm getting ideas and, I'm scrolling a lot looking for like the perfect light fixture or rug or whatever, right? Like the fun stuff. I find it's a lot of fun. So yeah, just, you know, have fun with it and just make sure it all coordinates. And that's where a professional comes into play.
Right. Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. Leanne from Walls Revived can come out and give you a design consultation as well as a color consultation in the city of Edmonton, and be happy to do so. And if you're getting ready to sell your home, she can come in and give you some ideas for staging, setting up the rooms for sale and for display, as well as doing some touch-ups to ensure that you have a really good experience and people come in and have that sense of, yeah, I like this place.
That's right.
All right, cool. We'll see you guys on the next video.
See ya.